Welcome back everybody, Major Buzzkill here, and today we're going to be talking about the do's and don'ts of sniping in your brand new tank destroyer.
If you use your TD properly, you can carry your team to victory by inflicting massive damage on the enemy. While different tank destroyers require different types of gameplay, there are some general rules that should be followed nearly all the time. But then again, there are exceptions to every rule. The games we're going to be looking at today are featuring one of my favorite tanks, the Su-152. This Russian turretless tank destroyer, in my opinion, is one of the most overpowered tanks in the entire game, especially once you get that fully upgraded 122mm gun. One of the most important things to pay attention to when driving one of these light TDs, or really any turretless TD, is making sure that you are in a position that you can be helped by your teammates. When driving a powerful turretless tank destroyer, it is very important to remember that you are a huge target for the enemy, and if you are spotted in a position where you are not able to be helped by your teammates, you're basically dead. In the beginning of this match, it appears we have a few guys headed towards the refinery, but the M6 is headed off all by himself up into the caves, so I decide I will head up that way to give him some support, and if he doesn't see any opposition, I'm in a great position to snipe. And the Hellcat has been nice enough to give me a little bit of a push. And now we see red starting to pop up down in the refinery, and the M6 has made it to the top and is yet to spot anybody, so I figure I'm pretty safe to go out here and set up in a sniping position. Now, as more and more reds are spotted at the refinery, it's becoming clear that we are in a perfect sniping position. I am much too far away to be spotted by anyone down there in the refinery, so I'm free to just sit out here in the open and fire and not be spotted. When you are in a strong position like this, remember that you have multiple targets, so constantly be looking around, making sure that you're focusing on the most open target that you are likely to hit. Don't get tunnel vision and focus too much on one. Now in a moment here, this KV-2 and T-20 are finally going to realize what's happening and duck behind cover, and I'm going to turn to the left and focus on this Su-152, but as you'll see, I barely have a shot. There is so little of this Su exposed that it's unlikely I'll get the hit. But I don't want my reticle to expand, so I just zoom out and I look, see nobody's out of cover, and I get the lucky shot for the kill. Remember that you don't have to be zoomed in to keep your reticle small. As long as your tank isn't moving, it's going to stay that way. You can zoom out, check for better targets of opportunity, and then zoom back in, and you will have that small reticle still. Not much interesting left here in this game. Obviously, we got them outnumbered 6-1. This T1 pokes out. I track him. The rest of the team sees him, and it's only a matter of time before I get the kill shot. In this game, I cleared 20,000 credits, a Top Gun award, a 3rd award mastery badge, and somewhere around 2,000 damage.
This next battle is much more interesting. We're on dead rail, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to camp at the spawn. There's a little hill over here on my left, which is absolutely perfect for sniping. It has sight lines down into the valley as well as up on the hill and even into the town around those corners. And as you will see, my team really spreads out all over the place, so it makes it very unlikely that I'm going to get flanked or anybody's going to be able to approach and spot me without me seeing them coming a mile away. If your team decides to do the unified force tactic, I do not recommend camping spawn on pretty much any map because you will most likely get flanked, and the last thing you want as a turretless tank destroyer is to get double teamed by a couple of mediums while your whole team is 300 or 400 yards away. As the reds begin to be spotted, I am scanning the horizon, not stopping on any one red target until I see that they are exposed and have a good shot for me to take. Again, anytime you are in a position like this where there are multiple possible targets, you should not be focusing on any one of them unless they are definitely exposed for another shot.
Get in the habit of zooming out after every shot like I just did there to get a better view of the battlefield and any additional open targets that may be easier to hit than the one you are currently focused on. At this point, the battle seems to be going fairly well. We've got the enemy 2-1, and they keep presenting me with targets, and I'm laying down some pretty heavy damage, but as you will see, the enemy puts up a valiant effort and the tide starts to turn pretty quickly. Now it's tied up 3-3, and the Tiger takes out our PZ3. And now we are down 3-4. It's usually at about this point that your dead teammates start yelling racial slurs at you from the grave, calling you a camper and telling you to get out there. But you've got to have pretty thick skin to be a good TD. You should always make your decisions based on what is most likely going to carry you to victory rather than getting offended by your teammates yelling at you and rushing in and getting yourself killed. That's not going to help anybody, and it definitely isn't going to help your win rate. And in just a moment here, we're going to be all tied up, and it looks like we're in a pretty good position. I know one of those mediums on the hill is a one shot because I just hit him, and the other one is at full health, and they're right up there, and we got a T1 at about half his health. So I ask for him to go spot and figure I'll get a line on him and be able to hit somebody, but it doesn't look like either one of them is a good target. And out of nowhere, I don't see exactly what happens, but the T1's done. So now I'm in a pretty hairy situation. Turretless tank destroyer against two mediums. Even if one is a one shot, it's really easy for mediums to get around you, track you, and even at full health just take you down. And it's actually really embarrassing, especially if one medium does it to you who's one or two tiers below you. It can be quite humiliating. As I slowly make my way up to their last seen position, they begin to cap, and the cap's moving quite fast, so that tells me that they're both in there. So I pull up behind this bush up here, which is a perfect spot for me to see where they are without them being able to spot me. I'm desperately hoping that I see the VK first, since I know he's a one shot and the PZ has full health. So one appears, but I don't have the gun depression and have to pull out of the bush, and I'm spotted. I nailed him in the back for almost half, or actually more than half of his health, and he hits me, so I know I have time to reload, and I take him out. So now it's just down to one. He's a one shot, but I'm really not out of the woods. You can if he gets around you, you're dead. Unless he's just an awful driver, he's gonna pull up right behind you and keep you there. However, I know I've got my full repair kit and full health. As I come around the corner, he nails me, but I hit that repair kit, speed around here. He almost gets behind me, and I pull backwards and get the kill. Thanks to everybody involved in that game. It was some really great gameplay, especially for one of these lower tier battles. No AFKs or insane YOLOs. And also, everybody, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will keep doing my best to bring you consistent material from the North American server.